Hello, Utah. We are finally back for episode 3. It's James, your host, and the co-host is Ryan here with me. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
Good. Well, we got lots to talk about for episode 3. We're excited to be back at it, excited to share with you guys. Ryan, why don't you kick us off and tell us a little bit about our agenda?
So we're going to first talk about free agency coming up and the cap space that Utah team has. We'll talk about some team news, go over some rules for those that are new to the sport, playoff structure, how the seeding works, and then what we know about some of the names. Some polls have come out. Obviously voting is still on through today, but there are some polls. Who knows how accurate these will be with the real voting, but we'll get into that.
Pretty exciting. Well, Ryan, let's jump right in. I hear we are rich. We are the team with the most cap space available to us this offseason.
That's right. Yeah, that's going to be a good thing. We have our projected cap hit. Well, the cap for this coming season is going to be $87.7 million. Our projected hit for players that we have under contract still will be $44,435,476. Simple math in my head right now tells me we've got $43,264,524 to spend. That's if they do not put Shea Weber on long-term injury, which is very likely they will. He has a cap hit of just over $7.8 million. So if they put him LTIR, we will have $51.1 million available to get some players here, which we are going to need. All of our defense is either restricted free agents or unrestricted free agents this year. So we will need to use that to get some defense.
That sounds awesome. So let's put that into a little bit of perspective here. So other teams, let's just talk about some of the playoff teams. So now eliminated. Sorry, Ryan, we're going to start with them. But the Colorado Avalanche, for this upcoming season, they have roughly $9 million available. Is that accurate?
They will have about 15.9.
15.9.
Yeah, for upcoming season.
Okay.
This is per cap friendly.
Okay. Other playoff teams. Let's talk about the Final Four. I'm looking here. Well, what
we got still in is start with the New York Rangers.
Go ahead.
They're going to have about 10.5 available. And they've got a lot of free agents, restricted and unrestricted, that they're going to have to sign. They've got 8 players to sign, and they've got about $10.5 million to do it. So there's going to be some trades going on there to clear up. Some guys are going to want more than they can offer. So yeah, their roster's not going to look the same next year.
So they've got a window that's closing.
Window's closing.
And then we've got the Oilers, correct?
We've got the Oilers. Let's pull those up. They're going to have 9.8. Ooh, and a lot of free agents. They've got even more. They've got Pickard, the goalie, so there's 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 12. 12 players to re-sign.
12 players to re-sign and not much money to do it.
And yeah, 9.8 million. They're not all going to take league minimum, so yeah, they're not going to look the same next year.
Excuse me. Okay, and then we've got the Dallas Stars with 15.9, so roughly on par with the Avs, and then the Florida Panthers with 19. So compared to playoff teams, we are 4 to 2 times more cap space than any playoff team. So
and less players that we need to sign. So we got money to.
Oh, that's.
And if Shea Weber does go LTIR, that's $51 million to play with.
It could be pretty incredible. Can we build a contender with that?
I think so. I'm looking some of the, obviously what I mentioned, we need defense. So if we find some D-men that are going to be eligible here. So 4 defensive players, 209 of them that either going to be restricted or unrestricted free agents. Some names that stick out to me, obviously our general manager likes big physical players. We got Christopher Tanev, who right now is in the playoffs on the Dallas Stars. He was with the Kraken, but a great D-man. Not really our GM's style, but Tyson Barrie. He's an offensive D-man. He'd be great to pick up. Nikita Zadorov. He is a big boy, very physical, which is what Bill likes. Ian Cole, he's older, but good. Sean Walker, currently on the Avalanche. He didn't do much this year, though. But yeah, there's a lot of good D-men out there that we can choose from, and with the money we have, we can bring some over.
That's pretty awesome. So when can signings start?
Ooh, that's a great question. I believe it is after the draft. Actually, no, teams have already started doing trades, so they can already start as long as they are not in the playoffs. But I think what would benefit us is getting some of those players from teams that are in the playoffs right now, some of those Final Fours, because they'll, one, have playoff experience and veterans, and they're obviously good at their position because they're helping their team get deep into the playoffs, and that's what we're hoping for, is a deep playoff run ourselves.
Awesome. Well, let's get there next year. Let's build a solid team, a team that attracts fans, not just because it's something new, but because we're competitive and great. So it does look like the NHL draft will begin June 28th and run 2 days. That's going to be really cool. It's actually going to be held in the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yes.
That's going to be a really cool, fun event. Unique for that new venue. And then it looks like shortly after, free agency signings and free agency period can start July 1st. So we'll have lots of news coming for you the end of June. Some really exciting stuff.
And for our first round, Utah does get the 6th pick. Few players there on a mock draft looking at Caden Lindstrom in the WHL. Never heard of this guy. He's a forward. I think we're pretty set in our forwards. The other two they're saying is Zane Parikh, which he's a big boy. Plays in the OHL, the Ontario Hockey League. He's defense, but he is also a great offensive player. And then the one I hope is available and that we would get is, I don't know how to say his last name, but Zeev Buium. Played for the University of Denver, and they won the college championship, and he's also a pretty offensive-minded defensive men, but of those three, I mean, I've heard Parikh, I've watched highlights of him, but I'd love to see Zeev here. He's an exciting player to watch, even though articles are saying Parikh is the most offensive-minded defensive player in the draft. From what I've seen, I'd rather have Zeev here.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Is he an earlier pick? Is there any chance we need to trade up for him?
He could go earlier. I don't know what the other teams need, to be honest. The Canadians are before us. These mocks they're probably taking that Caden dude I'd never heard of. Caden could go also. They're looking at the Blue Jackets, the 4th pick. Ducks doesn't look like everyone's looking like they're going to take forwards or one D-man. So I think we've got a chance of getting him if obviously that's who the GM wants to go for. I don't think he'll go earlier. The best pick, obviously, is going to be Macklin Celebrini. Sharks got the number 1 pick. I'm pretty sure that's where he's going.
Okay.
He's going to be the Connor Bedard of this draft.
Okay.
Number 1.
Right on. And, of course, we will be with you guys thick and thin through all the draft coverage, all the latest updates and news as we get closer to that draft day at the end of June.
And then we got to talk some team news.
Team news. We got lots of exciting updates. We're going to hold off on some until we have more information, but we've got some really exciting news. We've got a winner of a pretty cool and honorable award in the NHL. Ryan, why don't you tell us who that is and what he won?
So we have Connor Ingram, our goalie, won the Bill Masterson Memorial Trophy. Those that don't know what that trophy is, it is for someone that's overcome things and possibly career-ending injuries or just things in their life that they've overcome and displayed great sportsmanship. Connor Ingram was about to retire in 2021. He had severe clinical depression, OCD, pretty bad, and he ended up getting checked into the NHL's Player Assistance Program, turned his life around, kept playing, posted 4 consecutive wins against all 4 previous Stanley Cup teams. So that was awesome when he right out of the Player Assistance Program. So when he came back, he was dialed in, and he had the most shutouts of all goalies in the league this year.
Right on.
So I think we're in good hands with Connor.
We're definitely super happy to have Connor as part of our team. He did do a really awesome interview with a local news station, KSL, for the locals. Give that a listen. He talks pretty in depth about some of his mental illness issues, and it's a really neat interview. Definitely give it a listen. True to Fanology, I've got some really cool tweets that I wanted to share. The NHL posted about Connor winning the Bill Masterson Memorial Trophy, and just a couple comments. Iggy is such a class act and a kind soul, so well deserved. That's from Hockey Soul at the _real Solomon. And then, yay, Iggy, so well deserved. That's from Ellen C. Belansky. So, people who are familiar with the game and familiar with this story, those are just a few of the many, many people just validating that he's so deserving of this incredible and prestigious award that the NHL gives out. So, Ryan, I want to... With that's all the team news we're going to share for episode 3.
There we go.
Again, we have lots more exciting news that we're going to hold out on, so keep listening to us for future team news. But true to kind of the purpose of our podcast, we want to get our fans and new NHL fans familiar with the rules of NHL. Given that we're thick into the conference finals of the NHL, Ryan, let's talk playoff structure. So can you explain how many teams make it to the playoffs, how seeding works, how matchups end up getting decided throughout the series?
Sure, yeah. So 16 teams make it to the playoffs. The seeding is, so the NHL has 4 divisions within the 2 conferences. So there's the Eastern Conference, Western Conference, and then the Eastern Conference has the Atlantic Division and Metropolitan Division. And then the Western Conference is the Central and Pacific Division. So the seeding would go, so like Western Conference, the first 3 teams of the Central Division and then the first 3 teams of the Pacific Division make the playoffs. And then, so that's 6 teams. Then there's 2 wild card spots. That doesn't go by division, that goes by conference. So the next 2 teams are those wild card spots. Then the worst wild card spot plays the best team. And then the next worst wild card spot would play the best team of the other division if they're both from the same division, right? Because you could have, this year it could have happened where the Predators and Blues potentially could have both been wild card teams, but they're both from the Central Division. So if Predators finished first, they would have played the Stars. The next would have been, or sorry, I think Canucks actually finished better than the Stars, but, Canucks are Pacific. So, yeah, then the Blues would have played the Canucks, and then the second and third place teams from each division play each other, and then goes on bracket style from there.
So they play within their division.
Play within their division, which is
round.
Great, helps build division rivalries, which makes hockey fun.
That's pretty fun. Definitely. I haven't watched a lot of hockey before this year, but this year, trying to really immerse myself in the hockey experience, I can definitely say that playoff hockey, NHL hockey playoff time is
the greatest.
Pretty dang exciting.
Oh yeah. And this year has been no exception. It's been some good matchups, exciting games. My Avs are out, but they played some cool games. Fun to watch.
They definitely did, and I got to give Dallas some credit. They have been playing extremely well.
They're running 4 lines. That's what you need to do to win the cup.
Yeah.
So hopefully Utah learns from that and builds a team with 4 lines they trust out there, and not just play the top 2 for a bunch of minutes like the Avs did.
They're definitely who I want to see make it. I'm partial to the Avs this year, thanks to you, but they're kind of who I'm rooting for from here on out. That being said, MoneyPuck.com does have them with the second worst odds to win it all. They've got the Oilers with the best, then the Panthers, then the Stars of Dallas, and the New York Rangers in last place with just 18%. So,
wow,
pretty even odds though.
Are they all pretty close?
So Oilers are 29.7%, Panthers are 27.9%, Dallas is 24.4%, and the Rangers are 18%.
I think with who's left, I would say it's going to be Dallas or the Rangers.
Right.
Both those teams run 4 lines, what you need. The Oilers, I think they get the top vote because they got McDavid.
Yeah.
But they don't run 4 lines, and they're not going to make it past Dallas. It's my prediction.
It's going to be an exciting matchup for sure, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Well, great. Our final segment for today, per tradition, is our Fanology segment. So, Ryan Smith and the Utah hockey team released a poll of 20 names. Shocked us, quite honestly, with 20 names. A couple weeks ago, KUTV, a local news station here, did roll out a couple of different polls with some of the top names. In the first poll, they had the Utah Blizzard, the Utah Black Diamonds, the Utah Outlaws, and the Utah Yeti. And better odds, Utah Yeti won with 37% of the vote.
Yes. The Outlaws were second, 26%.
Followed by the Blizzard with 22 and the Black Diamonds with 14.
And then the second poll, 4 completely different names, was the Utah Fury, Utah Mammoth, Utah Mountaineers, and the Utah Swarm.
And Utah Mammoth won that one with 39%, so an even higher percentage than the Yeti. And the Fury came in second with 23%, and the Mountaineers and Swarm were even at 19.
So from the original 20, all 4 names I picked are in the 2 in one of them and 2 in the other.
Pretty predictable. I feel like of the names, there were some really good ones and some really poor ones. But speaking of poor ones, I'm not going to hate on too much social media. I'm going to remain neutral, but I do like to call Reddit the dumpster fire of all social media. And there were several little Reddit threads there. Some pretty angry fans from Arizona that are trying to manipulate and ruin the poll by going and voting for the worst name. So, a quick thread I'm going to read through. You can select up to 4 names. I went with, want to have some fun. This is the beginning of the thread. Want to have some fun. Utah has an online voting form up to select their team. There's some doozies. And then a couple of people go through just talking about how to vote for the worst ones. Ryan, why don't you go ahead and take the first comment?
So I went with, well, not me, but this is the comment. I went with Powder, Squall, Hive, and HC. Then they put FYI, if you vote from incognito mode, it lets you vote again and again.
Interestingly enough, I actually thought Hive was top 50%, top 10 maybe. So they're not doing a great job.
Not doing good.
Another person says...
Who knows, though? I mean, these polls...
It's true, but, we will see. Going to positive names for a minute, if you follow Twitter, other comment threads on news sites across the state, it does seem like Yeti's the clear winner right now. I'm a little disappointed. I think Mammoth should win, or Mammoths should really be the clear winner, but I'll be okay with the Utah Yeti if that does win. But back to the Reddit thread. Another individual says, time to set up a bot that keeps voting for the worst ones.
Once you build it, put it on GitHub.
Yes, build it on GitHub so people can pull it and replicate it themselves. And then someone else, this implies to me that they already have chosen a name, and this is just for show. And then another person commented, I just voted like 15 times under increasingly ridiculous pseudonyms. So, little do these people know, in my opinion, that this poll is put on by Qualtrics. And why don't you clue in our audience that doesn't know, what is Qualtrics and what does it have to do with the Utah hockey team?
So it is owned by Ryan Smith.
Wait, that name's familiar. Who's that?
He is the owner. And Qualtrics is a online computer software that he's a lot smarter than these people thinking they can I'm sure there are plenty of things put in place that are going to catch all the random people voting over and over again.
I'd agree with that sentiment. Yes, so Ryan Smith, CEO of Qualtrics, is also the owner of the Utah Jazz, the Utah hockey team, along with his wife Ashley Smith with all of these teams, and they're also partial owners of the Real Salt Lake and Real Monarchs here in Utah. So safe to say that if Ryan Smith built his fortune upon a poll and voting online polling platform, that he's gonna sort out this kind of mischief. But pretty interesting to see the Utah Coyote fans. Once again, my heart goes out to them. But come join us for the next couple of years until you get a team. We'd love to have you continue to support the players that you supported for so long.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's sign off.
Let's do it.
We're excited to continue to bring you new episodes and hope you stay with us. You can follow me at Fanology Sports on Twitter.
Me too.
And Ryan's there as well. Please ask us questions, share your feedback, and we're excited to hear all about it.